Namaskar, my dear students. Hope you are all fine. And today I am going to start with the next topic of the chapter Molecular Basis of the Inheritance. And the topic that is under consideration today is the genetic code. My dear students, genetic code is the information of the hereditary material which is in the coded form and is represented in the next generation. Genetic code was discovered by Nierenberg, Mathieu and Herbind Khurana, but actually the genetic code, uh, it was the term genetic code as such was given by Gamow, the term given by George Gamow. Now, what is this genetic code? Genetic code is in fact the dictionary that corresponds with the nucleotides and the sequences of the amino acids. Genetic code is the set rules of the information encoded material, and it is the genetic material of the DNA or the RNA and is translated into proteins by the living cells. As I told you, it was a term given by George Gamow, and however, we can more clearly define genetic code as a relationship between the sequences of the amino acids in a polypeptide chain and nucleotide sequences of DNA or the mRNA, and this is called as the genetic code. Now, to give a little more introduction to genetic code, I would explain that there are the letters A, G, T and C which corresponds to the nucleotides of the DNA, that is adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine are the four nitrogenous bases in the DNA. They are organized into codon. What is this codon? Codon is the sequence of the amino acids which code for one amino acid, that is sequence of the nitrogenous bases which code for one amino acids. And as we know, as already you have studied in your class 11th, that there are in total 20 amino acids, and correspondingly, consequently, there should be 20 codons. Now what this codons means, I will make it more clearer as I have written here, that if one nucleotide it codes for, then there could be for one amino acids there are only 4 combinations possible. If 2 nucleotides code for one amino acids, then out of the 4 nucleotides, 4 into 4, only 16 combinations could be possible. And if 3 nucleotides code for one amino acids, then 4 into 4 into 4 is equal to 64, which is more than sufficient for the 20 amino acids to be coded. I will make my points more clearer while explaining the various concepts of the genetic code. Now let me first give you an introduction of what is amino acid. The proteins which are the consequence of the information got from the RNA, messenger RNA, which in turn has got the information from DNA, is a polymer of the amino acid. I repeat my point that proteins are the polymers of the amino acids. As you can see in the figure, these rounded structures, they are representing the amino acids, and the chain of these rounded amino acids, they form the protein. And when these proteins are formed of the amino acids, they are called as the polymers. Now, what is this amino acid? Now, the question arises, if the protein is the polymer of the amino acids. Now, what is amino acids? Amino acids, we can say they are the building blocks of the proteins. And now, chemically, what is their structure? As you can see in this figure, they have a central alpha carbon and alpha amino and alpha carboxyl group. I explain my point that this is the central carbon atom. This is the central carbon atom. It is connected to the amino group on one side and carboxyl group on other side, and there is the side chain. Now, since I have told you that there are 20 amino acids, now where they are differing? The central core carbon is same in all the structure, but different in this side chain. One change in the side chain means one more amino acids. Otherwise, their basic structure, it appears like this. And at the physiological pH, amino acids, they behave as the zwitterine. Now, I can explain it in a much clearer way. Now, in this figure, I have told you that genetic code is a triplet code. What it means? It means that three nucleotides code for one codon. For example, here it is written AUG, the first one. It is coding for one codon. Then ACG, it codes for second codon. And similarly, three nucleotides code for one codon. What it means? It means that the information which is reflected in the next generation is the reflection of the proteins. The information reflected in next generation is the reflection of the protein. And the proteins are getting the information from the nucleotides that are in the mRNA. The proteins get the information, or I mean to say that what protein will be formed is dependent upon what coded language is written on the messenger RNA. And with the translation of the coded language of mRNA, a particular protein will be formed. Now, what information a particular messenger RNA will be having? That it will be getting from DNA, which is the DNA is the master copy which transcribes a particular mRNA on the basis of information got from DNA. A messenger RNA is formed and translated into a particular proteins. It means the role of phenotypic or the genotypic behavior of a particular individual is in turn dependent upon the information of mRNA, which is in turn dependent upon the information of DNA, and this is what we call the central dogma of the molecular biology. That is, you can see here, all what matters is the nucleotides A, T, C, G in case of DNA and AUCG in case of mRNA, and DNA gets converted into RNA, RNA gets converted into protein, and this is all what matters, and this is what we call the genetic code. Now, this genetic code is very informative, and I have written here, I have shown you in this figure the triplet codon for various amino acids. Actually, as already explained to you that there are the, if we say that there is one nucleotide which is coding for one messenger amino acids, then only 4 combinations will be possible. If we say, then at that time it will be a singlet code, but actually it is a triplet code. If genetic code is doublet, that is a codon is a combination of 2 nitrogenous bases, then only 16 combinations would be possible, which is still insufficient for the 20 amino acids to be coded. And if there are triplet codon, which was suggested in 1964 by Gamow, that in fact there is a triplet codon as a result of which 64 combinations are possible, which is most suited for the formation of the genetic code, and as a result we get the triplet code. In this case, there occur 64 codons in the dictionary of the genetic code. This figure is representing the total dictionary of the genetic code. Now, in fact, this is not a presumptive hypothesis that there is a triplet codon. We have a scientific proof, and an Indian-born scientist, Harbin Khurana, has artificially synthesized an mRNA, and which totally gives us a very firm footing proof that codon genetic code is a triplet code. Now in this figure you are seeing that every triplet code is corresponding to a particular amino acids. There are number of codons. Now this triplet code, we call it codon, C-O-D-O-N, codon. There are number of codons which are coding for more than one amino acids. There are number of amino acids which are being coded by more than one codons. Similarly, there are certain codons which are not at all coding for any of the amino acids. So it means that genetic code, despite being a triplet code, also obeys certain rules, because of which it is so universal and so widely applicable. So what are the salient features of the genetic code? I would discuss them one by one. Now let us first discuss the degeneracy. The first feature that it shows is the degeneracy. Now what does degeneracy means? It means that there are 64 codons for 20 amino acids. We are discussing degeneracy. There are 64 codons for 20 amino acids. So most of the amino acid except 2 can be coded by more than one codon, except 2. I will discuss those 2 also. Since amino acid coded by more than one codon is called degeneracy of the genetic code. And I must mention that this incident of degeneracy was discovered by Bornfield and Nierenberg. Now there are the 2 amino acids which do not show degeneracy, that they are not coded by more than one codons, and these are the tryptophan and methionine. Tryptophan is coded by UGG, and methionine, which is also called as the starting codon, initiating codon, is coded by AUG. Now the next feature is the unambiguous behavior. Now what does this unambiguous means? It means that genetic code is non-ambiguous. That is, one codon specifies only one amino acid and not any other. This is totally opposite of the degeneracy. Degeneracy means that single amino acid can be coded by more than one codon, whereas unambiguity or non-ambiguity means that genetic code specifies only one amino acid, that is AUG. If it codes for methionine, universally it will be coding for the methionine only and not any other. Now the next one is non-overlapping. What does it mean? A nitrogenous base is a consequent of only one codon, that is reading the genetic code. When we are reading the genetic code, it should not be overlapping. For example, if we say AUG, then the next codon should be after G, not starting from within. This is called as the non-overlapping behavior of the genetic code. Now the next one is the punctuation. Punctuation, it means that the message is read continuously. There is no punctuation, no comma between the adjacent codon. That is, each codon is immediately followed by the next codon. That is, if a nucleotide is added or deleted, the whole sequence of the genetic code is read differently, because there is no comma as to which codon is missing, as a result of which it is in a linear fashion. When it is read, the whole codon, whole sequence will be different. A polypeptide chain having, suppose, 50 amino acid shall be specialized by a linear sequence of 50 into 3 means 150 nucleotides. If a nucleotide is added in the middle of the sequence, suppose after the 25th amino acid, the first 20 amino acid of the polypeptide will be same, but next 25 will be different. This is what implies the punctuation characteristic of the genetic code. Then the next is the universality. This is very important. Genetic code is applicable universally. What it means? It means that the same genetic code is present in all kinds of living organisms, including viruses, bacteria, unicellular, multicellular organisms, with only a few exceptions in the mitochondria. Otherwise, it is universally accepted. Now, after these characteristics, there are the two things which needs to be discussed yet. And first is the initiation codon. Now, what is this initiation codon? The two very important features, that is starting of the chain of a polynucleotide and termination of the chain. Now, let us first discuss initiation codon. This is also called as the start codon. It is the first codon in the messenger RNA transcript translated by the ribosome. Whatsoever is the sequence of the amino acids in a particular polypeptide chain, the first sequence is always AUG, which codes for methionine in eukaryotes, and a modified form F-methionine in prokaryotes, and it is always AUG. The start signal is often preceded by 5' untranslated region of the 5' chain at the end. Now, this methionine, which does not show the degeneracy, is always coded by AUG. It is always the starting codon. If it is not the part of the protein which was actually to be formed, it is later on it is spliced out, but always it starts from the AUG, which codes for methionine, and hence it is called as the initiation codon. Similarly, every chain which starts must have certain end. So the end is recognized by the termination codon or the chain terminators. There are three stop signals or the genetic codon, that is UAA, UGAG and UGA. These codons are also called as the nonsense codons or the terminating codon. Nonsense because they don't sense any of the codons. As I had shown you the dictionary of the genetic code, and here you could see that these are the three codons which do not code for any amino acid, and during the formation of the polypeptide chain, whenever these sequences come in the way, the termination occurs and the polypeptide chain stops over here because it comes across in the linear fashion a particular codon, triplet codon, which does not code for it. Since these are of the great importance, so these codons are given certain other names: UAG or amber, opal and UGA, and ochre UAA. It is very interesting to mention here that amber or the UAG was discovered by Charles Steinberg and Richard Epstein, and they named it after as a amber because it was the last sequenced in a polypeptide chain after the German meaning of the last name of their friend Harris Bernstein. It was at that time. And similarly, ochre or the UAA, to give a color initiation, it was called as the ochre, and similarly the opal. These are the common names, the other nicknames you can say. Otherwise, these are the UAG, UGA and the UAA, which are given the name of the termination codons. And out of 64 codons possible, there are 3 codons which are called as the nonsense codons, stopping codons or the termination codons. So we can say that there are only 61 codons which are sense codons and which could specify 20 amino acids. Now I said 61 codons for 21 amino acids. This thing gives us to the gives us an information which we can read by a hypothesis which is called as the Wobble hypothesis. It was propounded by Crick. Now what happens that normally an anticodon recognizes only one codon, but sometimes an anticodon recognizes more than one codon. I repeat what I said. I said that it accounts for the degeneracy of the genetic code, that according to this hypothesis, the first two bases of the codon pair according to normal base pairing rules with the last two base pairs of the anticodon. Base pairing at third position of the codon is wobble. Now, what happens, for example, I will explain my point with the example. For example, AAG can recognize two codons UUU and UUC. Both stands for phenylalanine. So this and recognizing two codons by a particular anticodon on the mRNA is called as the wobble hypothesis. Now, after the wobble hypothesis, I will tell you that I will make it once again clear that the genetic code that we actually call the triplet code is the sequence of the messenger RNA, which is standing in the center of the central dogma of molecular biology. That is, as you have seen, that DNA is the master copy from which the proteins are formed via the information got from RNA. So, DNA is a double-stranded structure from which a single-stranded mRNA is formed. Since mRNA is single-stranded and moreover spliced out, so it is easier to read the sequence of RNA, and hence the genetic code, what we read in the genetic code, is the coded language of the mRNA rather than DNA or the protein. So accordingly, in prokaryotes and eukaryotes, we have a little difference, that mRNA is of two types. The first one is the monocistronic and other is the polycistronic. Let me explain it to you, that monocistronic is found in eukaryotes and polycistronic is found in prokaryotes. Now, in case of monocistronic, the mRNA in which genetic signal is present, the monocistronic in which the genetic signal is present for the formation of more than one polypeptide chain. For example, in prokaryotes, again I explained that each mRNA in eukaryotes, they are the clusters of related genes. In case of prokaryotes, let me explain first. Clusters of related genes known as operons found next to each other on the chromosome are transcribed together to form a single mRNA. Whereas in eukaryotes, each mRNA carries single gene and codes information for single protein only. This is called as the polycistronic nature of mRNA. So, my dear students, now in case of polycistronic mRNA, nonsense codons are found in the middle position, hence breaking it somewhere DNA. So this is all about the genetic code. I hope you have understood it fully. I would suggest you to go through the topic from your books also and find out some questions so that I can answer them to make the things more clearer. Till then, that's all for today. Till we meet next time with a new topic. Thank you so much.